Hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Sally, and this is Wrestle MSX.
New titles and new graphics hit us as the season premiere of SmackDown starts on the USA Network, with Triple H making his way down to the ring. No better way to start us off than with an undisputed WWE Championship title match in a steel cage. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Triple H leaves the ring, the cage drops and the two competitors head out. The match begins and Solo decides to no-sell a bulldog by Cody. Cody then throws Solo into all four sides of the cage, but a flying headbutt from Solo appears to bust Cody open and slow him down. Sikoa then catches Rhodes as he goes for a disaster kick and then uses the cage as a weapon by throwing Rhodes into it. Rhodes then tries to escape by climbing the cage. Solo follows to his regret as he gets hit with a Cody cutter from the side of the cage. Rhodes covers, but only for a 2 count.
Both men then start to scale the cage, with Cody nearly making it out. Rhodes' legs actually over the top of the cage, so close but so far. As Solo does what looks like a brainbuster on Cody, bringing both men down to the mat. Solo goes for the cover, but only for a 2. Sikoa then signals for the cage door to be opened. Rhodes manages to stop Solo from leaving, but suffers 2 spinning solos for it and a cover, again only for a 2. Rhodes then blocks a Samoan spike and treats Sikoa to a disaster kick, a Cody cutter, but only for a 2 count pin attempt. Sikoa replies with a butt-face corner smash, a Samoan drop and a splash from the top turnbuckle, the resulting cover only getting a 2 count. Rhodes then nearly escapes as Solo is too busy showboating. After dragging Cody back into the ring, he gets a crossroads and a cover for a 2 for his trouble. Cody, now looking spent, climbs the cage once again and manages to get to the top. But instead of climbing down on the outside of the cage, he decides to hit a crossbody on Sikoa and cover him, once again only for a 2.
Just get out of the cage. Cody then asks for the door to be opened, but Solo slams it in his face. Things then come to an abrupt end as Solo goes for a spike. Cody ducks and turns it into a crossroads. He then in turn pins Solo and wins, retaining his belt. Now you know this ain't over, as Solo's henchmen make their way out and surround the ring. Tama, Tanga and Jacob then scale the cage and drop down to the mat. Solo delivers a Samoan spike to Rhodes as the rest of the Bloodline then pile in. Fatu then climbs to the top of the cage, looking for a splash, presumably, but Roman Reigns makes his way out. He casually saunters to the cage, in no hurry whatsoever, walks in and slams the door shut. Tonga and Loa are dealt with immediately, as Solo suffers a Superman punch. Jacob then drags Solo out the door, saving his tribal chief from further humiliation. Reigns then beckons the Samoan werewolf into the cage. Fatu answers the call and enters the ring, psychs himself up, and then he's dragged back out the door by Solo. Tonga and Loa then beat on Roman, this time getting the upper hand. That is until Cody comes to his aid. Tonga getting a crossroads and Loa eating a spear. The segment ends with Solo halfway up the ramp pointing at Reigns and Reigns pointing back. Roman was also looking at Cody, who had the belt. Reigns not knowing which way to look, which begs the question, what does Reigns value the most, the title or his heritage?
Back from the break, and we hear from Nick Aldis that Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu have reached out and have challenged for a match.
Reached out. Next in the ring is Michin, and she's facing off against Piper Niven with Chelsea Green in tow. A cannonball from the ring apron puts Michin down on the outside. Niven then throwing her back into the ring and dragging her over to the corner. Niven then starts to climb the turnbuckle, but Michin wakes up and hits Niven with a belly-to-back suplex, eat defeat, and then covers her for the win. Green and Niven then beat up Michin, Green hitting an unpretty her on Michin onto a bin.
After an intermission, we see Rob Van Dam in the crowd, Vikki Gurgerro, Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. We then go to our next match, A-Town Down Under against Kevin Owens and a mystery partner. A-Town come out first, followed by Owens. He then awaits his partner, and we're treated to Ricky.
Who?
No idea. Apparently, Owens' original partner has travel issues. Just as the match is about to get underway though, a ringside official calls Owens over and tells him his partner's here.
Oh.
Owens announces this to the crowd and then stuns Ricky, kicking him out of the ring.
Thanks for coming.
We then hear the Viper's music as Randy Orton makes his way out. Within moments of the match getting underway, we're outside the ring with Waller dropping Owens onto the announcer's table. We then come back from the break and we're back in the ring and seeing a swanton by Owens from the top rope onto Theory. Owens then gets double teamed and covered for 2. Owens finally makes the tag with Orton treating us to twin back body drops onto the announcer's table for both members of A-Town, before we then see a double vintage Orton. Orton dealing with Waller, Owens delivering on Theory. We're then treated to a tandem stunner and RKO, with Orton then pinning Waller for the victory.
Backstage, Nick Aldis announces that Solo and Jacob want a tag match at Bad Blood against Rhodes and Reigns. Aldis already has a contract drawn up. Sikoa and Fatu have signed it, he just needs Reigns and Rhodes to sign now. Cody then catches up with Aldis, saying he's done with the Bloodline and that that's Roman's problem and he has no intention of signing the contract. Is Jimmy coming back to team with Roman, as Rhodes is not interested?
Back from the break and after seeing Booker T and Queen Sharmell, Sheamus and Michael P.S. Hayes in the crowd, we hear from Nia Jax, who's in the ring. Jax says it was easy to win Queen of the Ring and even easier to win the WWE Women's Championship. She goes on to inform us all that Nick Aldis has told her she'll be defending her title at Bad Blood, but whoever it is, she'll annihilate them. Out comes Bayley demanding a rematch. Jax reminds her she's in no position to demand anything, telling her this isn't like last year when she was running around behind Damage Control. I run the women's division and I don't need a posse to do it, Jax informs Bayley. Bayley shoots back, well, what are you doing with Tiffany then? You needed her to win at SummerSlam. Cue Stratton.
Ring's filling up here.
Stratton calls Bayley a peasant for begging for a title shot. Bayley tries to drive a wedge between Jax and Stratton, but Jax cottons on and then threatens to beat Bayley down. But no one was banking on the glow factor as Naomi heads out.
Oh, how many more?
Naomi puts a claim on the title, so Jax proposes a tag match for next week. Jax and Stratton against Bayley and Naomi. Whoever gets the win gets a title shot at Bad Blood. So, does that mean if Jax and Stratton win, Stratton gets a title shot?
Well, if whoever wins gets it, she can't face herself, so yeah, it's got to be in it. Yeah.
Jax then says that when Tiffy and I win, whoever loses leaves SmackDown permanently.
Oof.
Stratton then gets rear-viewed by Aunt Naomi as she tries to attack her with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Backstage, Nick Aldis has spoken to Roman Reigns, with Reigns saying he wants to address the crowd later.
Back from the break and we see Ron Simmons with Teddy Long, William Regal, Bobby Roode and Damian Priest all at ringside as we enter the last match. Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. Winner becoming #1 contender to face LA Knight for the United States Championship. Hayes attacking Andrade while he's still taking his coat off. The bell then rings and starts the match, with Andrade gaining the upper hand quickly with a moonsault to the outside. A Spanish fly then leaves both men on the floor after being performed from the timekeeper's barricade by Andrade. Back from the break and both men are in the ring with no one really in control. A first 48 from Hayes is followed by a big back elbow from Andrade, who covers Hayes for a 2. Hayes then misses nothing but net, but Andrade doesn't miss a wonderful looking destroyer.
I do like that, it looks just so on point.
A double knees in the corner and then a follow-up pin. Hayes grabs the bottom rope, breaking the cover on 2. After more back and forth, Andrade hits Hayes with an El Grande and covers him for the 3. After the match, LA Knight heads out to congratulate Andrade and tells him he's next to face him for the US title.
Backstage, and Byron Saxton is with the women's tag team champions, Belair and Cargill. They seemingly challenge anyone by saying anytime, any place. They get interrupted by Jax and Stratton. Jax congratulates them on being tag champs, then reminds them that she beat them both to become Queen of the Ring. Jax also warns them that SmackDown is her kingdom.
Finally, we hear from the former tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Nick Aldis in the ring with him too, holding the tag team contract. Some things change, Reigns tells us, but not me. I don't need Cody's help. This is bloodline business, and whether I have my family's Ula Fala or not, I am the tribal chief. This is my ring, my show, my WWE. The American Nightmare then heads out and into the ring. It was your WWE, but it hasn't been since WrestleMania, Rhodes reminds Reigns. Cody and Roman then throw their mics down, readying for a fight, but get interrupted by Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu.
Always spoiling things.
As Reigns and Rhodes turn towards the Bloodline, Tonga and Loa jump up from behind them, but are easily dealt with. Reigns then grabs the tag match contract for Bad Blood and signs. Rhodes holds his hands out, Reigns passes him the contract, and Rhodes signs too.
No Jimmy then.
Which then ends SmackDown. We also get a new graphic at the end of SmackDown telling us who the executive producers are as we go off the air.
Now, I like the new graphics.
Yeah,
I
looks
think
good.
the new SmackDown logo, it looks good. It's
like
clean.
Yeah.
And I love the way that they've incorporated the D into the bottom of the S. Yeah, I really do. I love
they've
it.
done it really good.
As for the wrestling, I actually like that Reigns has come back as he left, a heel. I didn't want him to come back as Cody, we're bestie mates. No, he's come back as a heel. We don't need him as a face. He's still got beef with Rhodes, and so he should, because he took his title off him. So he's going to be annoyed with him. We also seem to be building towards Reigns versus Fatu.
Yeah,
I think,
it seems that way,
as opposed to Reigns Sikoa. Well, that's the impression I'm getting. I don't know about yourself, but I'd have thought he'd been Sikoa.
That it should be them two, but it seems to be heading towards.
They're really pushing him.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again for watching.
And we'll see you on Tuesday for our look at Raw.